All right, shampoo tips. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Eagle Country 106.3, Eagle Eye News at 7 with Dr. Joel Saylor of Town and Country Veterinary Clinic. This week we're going to be talking about shampooing and tips thereon.
Yeah, tips and techniques for shampooing. And so one of the common questions we always get asked is one, how often should I bathe my dog? And number two, is it okay to use human shampoo? And the answer to the first one is it depends, and the answer to the second question is no. Okay, so basically, let's start with product selection. Dogs and humans are completely different. Okay. You might have noticed by the number of legs they walk on versus how many we walk on. But in addition to that, their coat and their hair and skin is completely different. For instance, they have multiple hairs per follicle. We have one follicle, one hair, okay? Right. And so there's differences there. There are differences in the glands that are within the skin. So the oil content is different. And for us, sometimes oily is a problem. For dogs, there's a perfect balance. The pH of our skin is completely different than the pH of their skin. Okay. And so shampoos are designed for humans to match our pH, our oil content, those kind of things. And so they're not appropriate for dogs. A lot of people say, well, what about baby shampoo? And baby shampoo, again, it's pH settled for a human being, and it's got something in it to kind of cut down on the stinging in the eyes. So from that standpoint, it doesn't really qualify as a soap-free shampoo, nor does it qualify as a shampoo that should be used on pets. So you want to use a pet-specific product, okay? Now, shampoos are not regulated. Okay, so anybody and their brother can produce a product out there, and so just because it says pet on there, it may not have been really tested for that. So check with your veterinarians about what shampoos are appropriate and which ones are not. Now, let's talk about how often they should be bathed. For a dog that has no skin problems whatsoever, okay, then I think that you can bathe probably couple times a week, or once every 2 weeks, or once a month. Okay, and that removes debris and gets stuff out of there. Yeah. Now, that is also predicated on the fact that you're using a shampoo that's appropriate for the dog. If you're using a human product, even once every 2 weeks or once a month might be drying that dog out and creating more problems that we want. Okay, so make sure, and then of course some dogs have really diseased skin. They need to be shampooed sometimes as frequently as twice a week. Okay, so it'll depend, and that's a discussion, again, your pet discussion with your vet in front of him while he's had a chance or she has had a chance to look at the skin. Now, when you're shampooing, contact time is king. Okay, BTC is what I always use, by the clock. Okay, shampooing 10 minutes. By the clock. 10 minutes is a very long time if you're sitting there just staring. So one of the tips you can do is get your iPad out or your cell phone out and watch Netflix for 10 minutes, okay, while your dog's sitting there soaking. Use cold water. Cold water is better than warm water. And then also, too, remember that a lot of these products for dogs don't sud up like the human products do. And so if you're expecting it suds, don't use too much. Work it in there. Also, too, don't ruffle backwards against the hair. Kind of pull forward. Drag your fingers through it just like you're trying to pull gel to style your hair. Work it in there. You can work it side to side, but don't be ruffling the pile backwards, because it damages the hair and it damages the follicles. And that can actually cause mechanical trauma to the skin. And the goal is to make the skin happier. So you work it in there. Make sure that you get those underside parts. It doesn't passively just get down there. And again, contact time is king. Then when you're done, rinse thoroughly. Get all that back off. Okay? Again, as always, if you answer those questions, that's a conversation really best to be having with your veterinarian and getting the proper product selection, because literally, I mean, there's dozens and dozens of shampoos out there, and they do a lot of different things, so they're designed for your pet, your problem that happens to be going on with skin.
Coming up in September, there's going to be a special presentation, and we're going to talk about it next week, and we'll be back right after this message.